Welcome back guys to the Marquee Models Pokemon League Challenge. Today we have Tim Yusuf against Lee Barlow. Tim is playing a Silvally Zoroark variant and Lee's playing a Garbodor Espeon variant. Now this is a very interesting matchup to start off with because obviously the high ability usage of Tim's deck, whereas obviously Lee's deck tries to shut down the abilities and try to control the opponent's deck and what they can and can't do. Now it looks like Tim wins the heads or tails, so he will be going first and Lee will be going second. So they're just setting up their prize boards, making sure they've got 6 prizes each, and they're just double checking their hand. Looks like Tim has 2 starting Pokemon, and also it looks like he has a Tapu Lele in hand. Now it's going to be quite interesting to see whether he goes for an opening hand Bridget or whether he chooses to go with a different support because he's got them 2 Pokemon already starting. So here we're just waiting for the round to start, waiting for the judge to call time to begin, and from Lee's hand it looks like he's got a Guzma and a Psychic Energy, but that's all I could see from his hand. So here we go, we're just starting the game, shake of hands and turn it over. So Tim starts a lone Zoroark and a type null, I believe, type null, and he's using Tapu Lele's Wonder Tag to search his deck for a card. I'm guessing it's probably going to be the Bridget because I believe he had another draw supporter in hand. So let's see what he goes in and gets. So looking at that, he takes his deck off the screen, so I can't actually see what he's looking to search for. So we'll probably next see it when he actually comes forward. Personally, due to the matchup, there you go. So I would do exactly the same thing as what Tim has done. So he gets himself another type null, just in case if they go for an aggressive attack onto one of the type nulls that's already on the board, another Zoroark, and also the Dual Wings. Now, the Dual Wings here is going to be very crucial in this matchup due to weakness isn't actually Psychic, it's actually Dark. So where Espeon normally deals twice as much damage, or Garb deals twice as much damage, it'll actually only deal the regular damage because of that Darkness weakness. So here Lee uses a Nest Ball in his turn, searching out an EV. So let's see whether he uses the energy in his hand to be able to then evolve the EV into the Espeon. So first of all, so he actually attaches the Floatstone to start off with. Oh, okay. And he's Sycamores as well. So that Floatstone already threatening the abilities of Tim's deck. So if he can get a Garbodor out for next turn, then obviously he's in a very, very good spot. So here he attaches the energy to Eevee, plays down the EspeonGX onto the Eevee thanks to its energy evolution, which allows it to evolve as soon as there's been a basic energy attached to the Pokemon. So Tim cuts Lee's deck. So looking at what Lee's planning on doing, he really hasn't got much going on in his hand. So here he retreats the Tapu Koko and goes for the Confusion onto the Zoroark. So here, let's see what Tim does. So Confusion, but it goes back into regular because obviously when your Pokemon evolves, then any status condition does get removed from the Pokemon. So into the Zoroark, so he trades. So let's see what he's going to do with this trade. So there's 3 Ultra Balls, which he discards. So let's see whether he's going to get a Silvally maybe, or another Zoroark. So yeah, he does go for the Zoroark. So I believe he's just trying to find that energy just to be able to get that attack straight out onto the Espeon. So it can cause 120 damage because he's got 5 bench Pokemon as well as his attacking Zoroark. So let's see what Tim grabs a hold of. So he trades away a Guzma. Let's see what he's got. It doesn't look like he's got much. So here you go. He just straight up goes for the Cynthia, which is shuffle your hand into your deck and draw 6 cards. So here it's not looking very good for Lee to start off with, just generally because of how fast Tim's setting up his deck. He's already got 2 Zoroarks out that can trade, although Tim's used both of his trades so far. And you know, he's got his type now out, and there you go, he hits the DCE. So the DCE causing 120 damage onto the Espeon, which caused that immediate pressure on. Although Lee here could probably confuse the attacking Zoroark, which would then mean obviously Tim would have to find a way of retreating if he does manage to get that Garbotoxin out. So here Lee Cynthias, so shuffles his entire hand back into his deck, and once again looking to draw 6 cards. So let's see what 6 cards Lee can hopefully pull off the bat. So there you go, picking his 6. Looks like he's got an Ultra Ball in hand, so maybe he can go and grab a Garbotoxin with that. But if he has access to the Garbotoxin, he wants to make sure he's got the ability to be able to go in and get another draw supporter from his deck, because there, I believe, it looks like he has 2 Ultra Balls in his hand. There you go. So with that other Ultra Ball, he could have really got another he could have got a Lele out of his deck to then grab himself another draw supporter before he goes and grabs that Garbotoxin. So here, he's a little bit stuck, really, in terms of actually a supporter in his hand at the moment, because I believe he has a lot of stuff in his hand, like a rescue stretcher. I believe I saw a second Guzma in there, so he hasn't really got much going on in his hand. So I would have preferred to go for that setup rather than hitting into that Garbotoxin straight away. So here you go. So there's the choice band going onto the Espeon, and then I believe Psybeam, which will be 40 damage, which goes into the 50. So Tim here attaches to the Dawn Wings. So as I said, that's going to be the main threat for Tim. And obviously, as Lee just shows Tim, he's got that lone rescue stretcher in his hand as Tim ends him. But obviously, Tim wants to try and get his game state as quickly and effectively as he can increased. So it allows him to just steam ahead straight through, hopefully doing more damage against Lee's Pokemon. So here he's probably looking for the Field Blower for the Garbotoxin, so that then he's able to invasion in, remove the confusion, and then drag back in the Zoroark. So there, for example, he gets to Silvally. Oh, so as well, he tries to go for the heads onto the Zoroark, but actually fails. So it's 30 damage onto the Zoroark. Now, this is really risky from Tim, because if Lee was able to get hold of a DCE here, he could possibly be hitting 130, which actually hits out against, well, hits for the knockout against the Zoroark. So let's see what Lee's got in his hand. So you can see he's got quite a bit of energy in there, but no DCE. So here he just Cynthias, puts his hand back in to draw 6. So as I said, that was a really risky move for Tim to try to drag out that 120 to knock out that Espeon, but the risk against the reward of hopefully grabbing that extra 120 to take the 2 early prizes in the second turn of the game. So here, oh, so he hammers the DCE, but doesn't he have the... Yeah, so he has the DCE in hand. So here, if he had kept the DCE onto the Zoroark, he would have actually been able to take the knockout, which meant he would have gone up the 2 early prizes. So here, margins are everything. So the fact that he used that enhanced hammer meant that the Zoroark isn't getting knocked out this turn. So on goes the damage. And let's see what Tim draws. So he uses a Max Elixir, which he's going to look to try and accelerate all that energy onto that Dawn Wings. So obviously he can then just start swinging in, because of the fact that it's going to take Lee a while to try and knock it out. So because of the fact that where it does 120, it does weakness against Lee, but it doesn't quite do it against Tim. So here Tim Sycamores, so he's looking to try and hit that Field Blower hopefully, and oh, there you go, he hits it as you see in his hand. So I believe he'll play the Field Blower hopefully before, no, first of all he's going to attach the DCE to Zoroark Elixirs to see if he hits the Elixir, which he does on the fourth card, sorry. So he attaches it to that Dawn Wing, so he's really racking up that possibility of having the threat of the Dawn Wings. And then shuffles his hands into his cards. So is he going to play the Field Blower, is the question, just yet. So he plays down another Silvally, and here you go. So he does play down that Field Blower, gets rid of the Floatstone on the Garbotoxin, so now abilities are active. So there's the invasion on the Dawn Wings, as Tim just struggles to put the damage counters back onto the Pokemon. He then retreats it using Silvally's ability into the Zoroark, trades a Bridget for 2 more cards, and another trade for 2 more cards, because obviously he's got the use of his abilities, so he needs to use that as much as he can now, and then he takes that knockout on the Espeon GX. How much the game has changed now because of the fact Lee used that enhanced hammer to get that DC off of the Zoroark to start off with, has allowed Tim back into the game here. So Lee now is looking at what he's going to be doing. So I believe, oh, it's another Sycamore. So he did not like anything in his hand at all. He could have Lele to possibly get a Cynthia to protect some of his items in his hand. But here he just goes, no, I don't want this. I'm Sycamoring everything away. So here Lee's going to use the Energy Evolution again onto the Eevee. So he's managed to find the Espeon as well. So he's using that ability thanks to the Garbotoxin being offline now. So that's helped Lee out a little bit to find that Pokemon that he actually needed. Now, something that I would have been really interested in seeing in this matchup was the Lunala Prism, which has obviously been discarded as it is in the Lost Zone, as Tim has put it over there. Now, that obviously has the attack of Full Moon Star, which allows you to get as many energies from your discard pile as your opponent has Pokemon in play. So it's similar to the Solgaleo Prism, but instead of having it so it's still energy, it's psychic energy. So that's something I was really looking forward to seeing put in play today. So obviously it's been discarded and it's now in the Lost Zone, so Tim can now get that back. So here Tim has now managed to get 3 energies onto this Storm Wings, and he's just taken the knockout onto the Espeon. So here, Lee's not in a very good situation. He's not got much going on for him, and this is probably the most he can do. So he attaches energy to the Trubbish, so he's using that Rescue Stretcher to get an early discarded Garbodor. So he's looking to try and Trash Launch here. So then again, he's Sycamores once again, getting away another DCE, and I think that's probably his 3rd DCE in his discard pile now. And here he's just umming and ahhing what to do. So he does have a Choice Band in hand, so it might just about do all the damage. So we'll see in a minute how many items Tim does have in his discard pile, which he's been keeping a track of. So it looks like he's got 6. So overall it'll be doing 120. If he attaches the Choice Band, it will be 150. Although the Dawn Wings will be taking the return KO if it ends up not knocking out this Dawn Wings. So he will be able to pick up the KO on his next turn, Tim, if he attacks with this Trash Launch, which then puts him down to 1 prize against Lee's 6, which is not looking very good for Lee. So here you go, here comes the Choice Band. And yeah, so we're going to see 150 damage go onto this Dawn Wing. So here, this is Tim's games to lose now, just because of the fact that there's got that 120 straight up hit and the Psychic Weakness. But here as well, it looks like Tim has actually placed 180 damage onto that Dawn Wings. So you'll see a hand come across in a moment to point out that that was a mistake, and obviously it should be changed to 150 because Dawn Wings Necrozma has 180 HP, which that would have been the knockout onto the Pokemon. So here Lee plays an end to put Tim down to 1 card, and then we're going to see what Lee can draw off of his 6 cards. So shuffling up, 3 and 3 for Lee, and just the 1 single card for Tim. Hopefully Tim hasn't drawn a Field Blower for Lee, so that, well, Lee's got a Field Blower, so that would have probably been helpful for when he used Trash Launch last turn, because it would have got an extra item in the discard. Here Lee's just trying to find something that he can do, possibly. Okay, so he grabs himself a Trubbish, and then let's see whether he can attach for turn or possibly turn this round in some way. I do think it's too far gone now for Lee, but you never know, he might be able to turn this round. So I do see he has the Trash Launch in hand, so that's a little bit unfortunate for Lee. Obviously if he had been able to get a Trubbish out a turn earlier, then obviously he would have had a chance there. But there you go, Tim takes his last prize, attacks with Dawn Wings, and then comes through. So there you go, thank you very much for watching. And our next competition will be the Marquee Models Pokemon League Cup on Friday the 6th of April.